Hi, Moses Smith here to talk about family and fitness and how it's important for everybody to get involved with your kids and family and whatever your family circle really is. I have my 3 kids here with me today. I got Martha, Miriam, and little Moses. And we're gonna kind of talk about and demonstrate some exercises we do to kind of stay in shape during the summer. We're on summer break right now, so we kind of got to be creative throughout the day to keep them motivated, because I don't want them to be on their technology and their tablets and Nintendos far too long. So the most important thing when it comes to family fitness is making sure that you have a routine that is set each day. You have to make sure that you're consistent with it with your family, your friends, and it helps motivate yourself because you have somebody to do it with, you have people to do it with. Because it's hard working out by yourself. And plus, you set up a good example for younger people to stay in shape. They do imitate what you do. They imitate things, routines, and they build a good tolerance to endure exercise. Exercise is not fun if you do it for a while, so it's definitely good to incorporate some type of healthy lifestyle. With my kids during the summer, I do try to incorporate healthy nutrition as well too. They wonder what soda tastes like because I'm like, don't drink that. They get mad because their cousin drinks soda. But I try to promote those type of things so they understand that it's good to treat your body right. But one thing we do during the summer, I like to make certain exercises almost like games. To kind of make it entertaining for them. I sometimes teach Kid Fit, so it's kind of my thing. I'm a PE teacher as well too, so it's kind of my thing during the summer. So one thing I like to do is I like to play how many times we catch the ball while we squat. You know, how many times we catch the ball while we do a certain exercise. So how about we demonstrate a little move? Good. Go right. So Moses, go right there. And then Miriam, go right there. Okay. And then Maggie, go right there. You're right there. So one movement I like to do is to keep myself in shape. I try to make it spontaneous for them, but I like to do a lot of like body weight squats, and they kind of imitate me a little bit, and we'll play keep up with the ball. We have like a bigger ball at the house. We kind of we hit around in the backyard. So I'm gonna squat and gonna catch it. All right, so I'm gonna squat here, catch it, squat, catch it back. So I can take turns with each of them, and if they don't catch it, it's whatever, and they toss it back, and I kind of keep my motion going. I'm showing them proper form and technique, and they get to work on their motor skills, especially this one. And she's gonna throw pretty hard. There we go. I can just kind of keep working, and it shows them that exercise can be fun, and we can keep it up. Count how many times we catch it, have a little high score, you know. So we'll incorporate exercises like that to make it fun for them. I just try to make it interesting. I don't want exercise to be a punishment when it comes to kids. I want them to actually enjoy it. Other things we like to do is, well, sometimes I do have lighter weights at the house, and we'll do a lot of movements and curls. So here, go. And you had 4s, and then you had these. You know, so I'll say, Simon says, work out your arms. So I make it to a little Simon Says game. Simon says, stop. Simon says, work out your legs. So I do some stuff like that. Simon says, stop. You know, Simon says, work out your shoulders. Simon says, stop. Simon says, work out your legs. That time I didn't even have to do it that time. They just did it themselves. So I do fun games with the kids like that. But most of all, we're kind of doing it together. I'm not doing it as a punishment. I'm just kind of telling, hey, let's do a workout real quick, and they enjoy it. They have fun with it. That's the biggest thing when it comes to family and fitness. Anybody have any questions?
What about for older kids?
Well, for older kids, I do enjoy doing competitive activities. You know, I coach track, I coach basketball and cross country. So I do make things competitive. I do little wages with them. You know, like if you beat me, I'll buy you a protein shake or something like that. So I try to make it interesting and fun when it comes to older people. You know, older teenagers like to have incentives and they want to have value when it comes to them accomplishing something. Especially when I do teach teenagers in high school, they're very unmotivated. But as soon as I say, hey, the winning team, I'll buy everybody here a pack of Gushers or Fruit Roll-Ups. They'll play the hardest game of their life for that. So they like to be rewarded for their activities. So I guess intrinsic rewards is a big thing for teenagers.
Hi, I'm Keegan Sweet. I work here at the gym and I also work at Kids Only. I work in the office and primarily with school-age children, ages kindergarten through 5th grade. And I'm also a mom, so incorporating fitness into my life and working with little people is pretty much my everyday. I think the most important thing you can do as a parent is to model for your children what you expect as far as taking care of your body. So what that might look like is making sure you're eating balanced meals in front of your children. And I think that's more effective than telling them you should eat your vegetables because they don't really care when you tell them that. But if they see you eating well-rounded meals and encouraging them to join you at the dinner table and do that together, that's a really good way to promote that kind of behavior. Another thing that you can do is just model taking care of your physicality. So it's not always, especially for young people, it's not always going to the gym because that's not an option when you're in elementary school. So what that might look like for your family is maybe taking a walk every day after dinner. That's what my family does. Or maybe playing basketball in the driveway or kicking a soccer ball around the yard. So I think promoting fitness in your everyday life in ways that feel joyful is definitely a good way to get your kids fit. I think as far as, my work with children, keeping them fit is, they're a little older. So I talk to them about why it's important to care for our bodies, why it's important to eat good foods, and especially why it's important to limit your screen time. I think that's something else that families tend to overlook. But I think just keeping your body in motion in ways that feel good to you and encouraging your children to do that by talking to them about it and modeling this behavior are the best ways to keep your family healthy. What kind of questions do we have?
So you have older kids?
No, my son's 3. Newly 3. Yeah, newly 3. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But I do work with children that are kindergarten to 5th grade, and I typically approach it as looking at the whole child too. So we do something where we're called Fitness Friday, where I get up in front of them in the cafeteria and we do these like loud cardio routines and we turn the music up and we dance, and it's kind of like Richard Simmons sweating to the oldies style kind of stuff. And they like that. Sometimes they're not in the mood for that, so we'll do like an obstacle course or we'll play a competitive game, kind of like you had said, Moses. We do other things that also focus on just wellness too. So sometimes if they're having a hard day, I'll say, hey, let's grab our yoga mats. We're going to go outside and stretch, peaceful music on, or we're going to meditate. And I think wellness as a whole when you're speaking to children is so important because it's not always like intense push, go to the gym, run, do this and that. It's really about just making sure that their bodies are feeling good and they feel well cared for. Any other questions?
In your classes, is it the girls or the boys? Which ones you motivate the most?
That's a hard one. I think really the younger ones are a little more motivated because they are a little more unaware of what's happening. It just feels fun. I think when they get a little older to like that middle school age, they're kind of like Moses said, they need a little more motivation to kind of get moving. But I think the younger ones are so distracted by the music and having fun. That's kind of who's most participating. Do you have any tips for families trying to eat healthy? Sure. Tips for families to eat healthy. Something that I do with the children in my care is, let me backtrack. There was one day in my class, I had come in and I think I brought like a whole mango and I held it up and I was like, does anybody know what this is? And they're all like, no. And I'm like, okay, we can do something with this. Something I like to do with my classes, I'll bring in, we call it a health food seminar, and I'll bring in a whole variety of like fruits and vegetables, and I think we did like hummus, stuff like that, and I lay it out in front of them, and I'll hold it up and I'll have them guess what things are, and 9 times out of 10, they don't know. I held up like a cucumber one time and nobody knew what it was. So we'll talk about what they are, what they do for your body, talk about how to prepare them. And then I'll encourage them to try. And then I usually will bring like a fun treat too. And they'll make a plate of like fruits, vegetables, some kind of protein. And then they'll have a cupcake on their plate. And I talk to them about how this is how your diet should look. You can have the cupcake, you can have the ice cream, but you also need to incorporate a variety of healthy foods. What other questions?
So how do you recommend sneaking healthy food into the food that they're already eating?
Sneaking healthy food? I think the most important thing you can do really is introducing healthy foods at a young age. This is something we started with my son from day one. And we kept trying. So there were certain foods he didn't want to eat, and I kept putting it on his plate and encouraging it. I think it's something like you have to try a food, what is it, like 21 times until you really know you don't like it, is what I've heard. So I think, just introducing it over and over and over again, even if you put it on their plate and you don't make them eat it, you just present it as an option and you model that, you're eating it. Something else that I've heard just in my, studies in early childhood are, when you talk to children about foods, it's better to say, oh, this is so crunchy, or, oh, do you hear that sound, or what does that feel like in your mouth, instead of saying, you should eat that because it's good for you. Because children don't understand what that means. They don't really care. They just want to enjoy their experience. What other things do you guys want to know about?
Right. So what types of exercises would you do just to make it more fun for kids?
Like as far as like just regular or exercising together?
Like your age group is a little older at school. It's a little older than Moses' kids.
Mm-hmm.
So do they enjoy like more a sport game or?
Yeah, we do a lot of that. So like I said, we do the Fitness Fridays, which they love because it's loud and we get a big speaker and we dance. And usually they know once they finish the cardio routine, I'm going to play some games they really love. So I think kind of incentivizing, like you had said, Moses, but just making it something that feels fun and not like I'm forcing you to work out is definitely helpful. And they ask me to do it. There are days I'm really busy and I don't have time to come into their classroom and do it. And they ask me to do it because they just like it.
Does she do a lot of sessions in the classrooms?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to be the teacher in their classroom, and now I'm mostly administrative, but I sneak in when I can. So, yeah. And then for younger kids, too, we have teachers in our building. I don't know if I said I work at Kids Only, but we do have teachers, even toddler teachers, that do yoga with their kids, and they love it. They just will put on like an instructional video, or they'll do it themselves. And we have, 2 and 3-year-olds in downward dog. It's really cool. What other questions do you have?
So you think like the mindfulness type exercises help with not only their physical health, but their mental health?
Yeah, I think focusing on the whole child is really important, so that they know that they have different options for moving their bodies. Especially, you always have, 1 or 2 children who really aren't interested in hard, laborious exercise, and you can't make them. So you have to show them ways that feel good to them to still be able to.